Hello, I'm Ali, the designer of Worldbreakers Advent of the Khanate, and today I'm going to play the solo version, where I'm going to be Marco Polo, the Worldbreaker of the Stars Guild, and my opponent is going to be an automaton who is playing Khutulun, the Worldbreaker of the Earth Guild. Let's start by shuffling my deck, the automaton deck, and the order deck, which decides what the automaton is going to do. Next, I will draw my opening hand of 5 cards, and taking a quick look, I'm going to put back one of them, which is a bit too expensive at 7 Mythium. I'm going to put back the Den of Sabers as well. Usually as Marco Polo, I want to keep at least one location in my opening hand. In this case, the Silkwar Terrarium is cheaper and is a better fit. I'm going to draw 2 new cards, and I will put these back in the deck and reshuffle. And with that, we can start playing. I will play the Mothkeeper for 2 Mythium, and the Mothkeeper is a 1/3 that is going to gain me Mythium whenever I gain power. I will move the turn to Khutulun, and she's going to recruit. So the top card of the deck is going to be the Earth Apprentice, who is a 2/2. Since Khutulun is played by an automaton, we're going to ignore the text of the card, with a handful of exceptions. And for our next action, she's going to lay siege, which is going to destroy a non-hidden location we control. We are next, so I am going to play the Silkwar Terrarium, and I'm going to load it up with tokens. Usually I would be concerned about the terrarium being destroyed by lay siege, but lay siege explicitly says non-hidden, and the terrarium is indeed hidden. The terrarium also has an ability. I can discard a card to develop a location, so I'm going to discard the Lowly Bard to develop the Silkwar Terrarium, and this is going to give me 1 power, and it's going to trigger the Mothkeeper by gaining me 2 Mythium. Khutulun is next. She's going to attack with the Earth Apprentice, and I'm not going to block, so Khutulun gets 1 power, and her next action she's going to recruit again. I am next. I'm tempted to use this surprising development to damage the Silkwar Terrarium and just gain 5 Mythium. At the moment though, we don't have anything to do with that Mythium, so I'm just going to draw a card. And Khutulun, for her turn, is going to recruit. She's going to get a Skillful Bruiser, who has 3 strength and 1 health. The Bruiser has an Overwhelm ability, and this is one of the abilities that actually triggers in the solo mode. So if the Bruiser defeats a follower, Khutulun is still going to get 1 power. Then for our last action, I am going to draw a card, and then Khutulun is going to mobilize, playing the top card of her deck. And that is the end of the round, so we will ready all of the followers, and I'm going to gain 2 Mythium, draw a card, and flip the round tracker. So Khutulun is going to be first, and her card is to play the top 2 cards of the follower deck. And things are getting pretty dicey. Khutulun just played quite a few followers in a row, and we're going to have to think about how we're going to deal with them. I'm going to play Polo's Portraitist for 2 Mythium, and the Portraitist says that players cannot attack for the remainder of the round. This is going to give us a bit of a timeout, and this is going to be 2 Mythium. Khutulun is next, and she's supposed to attack, but because of the Portraitist, nothing's going to happen. So it is our turn, and I could advance the Silkwar Terrarium for 2 Mythium and a power, or I could use Surprising Development for 5 Mythium. The situation is pretty dicey, so I'm going to use Surprising Development, which will remove this token, discard the terrarium, and give us 5 Mythium. Khutulun is next, and she's going to recruit, and I'm going to zoom out. Her next action is going to be to attack, which will be cancelled because of the Portraitist. I am going to gain 1 standing by paying 2 Mythium. Khutulun is supposed to attack, but the Portraitist is giving us some time. And for my last action, I'm going to play the Sway of Sycophant. And the Sycophant says that when they block, I put a stationary counter on the follower this is blocking, and that follower cannot attack until Khutulun removes the stationary counter. That's going to cost 3 Mythium, and that's the end of the round. So I will gain 2 Mythium, draw a card, flip the tracker, and we're going to go first. We don't have the Portraitist protection any longer. I'm going to play Sai Sentinel for 3 Mythium, and the Sentinel says that when she blocks, I can choose another attacking follower and remove them from combat. So effectively, she can take care of 2 attacking followers. That's going to be 3 Mythium. Khutulun is next. She's going to pledge Filthy, and this means she's going to play the Confident Suitor follower, which comes from up here. And next turn, she's finally going to attack after Polo's Portraitist bought us quite a lot of time. We don't have much to do right now, so I'm going to draw a card. And then Khutulun is finally going to attack with all of her followers. Starting from the Confident Suitor, when he hits, Khutulun sacrifices him. So I'm just going to let him hit, and he's going to go back here, and Khutulun gains 1 power. Then for the Earth Guild Apprentice, who is a 2/2, I'm going to block this with the Sly Sentinel, who is a 4/3. So this will get discarded, and the Sentinel gets 2 wounds, and then her ability triggers, so I can choose 1 attacking follower to go back. I'm going to choose the Champion of the 2 Men. She's not part of combat anymore. Then the Swave Sycophant, I will block the Skillful Bruiser. So the Sycophant is going to take 3 wounds, the Bruiser is going to take 1 wound, and because the Sycophant is not defeated, the Bruiser's ability does not trigger. Then the Portraitist is going to take the Bregart, deal 1 wound here, and gets discarded. You serve your purpose, Portraitist. And finally the Mothkeeper is going to block the Eagle Huntress, dealing 1 wound. So only the Emboldened Soldier remains, and Khutulun gains 1 power. That was quite a combat step. Next turn, Khutulun is going to flank, and since we have a follower, a wounded follower. Sorry, I forgot this wound. One of our followers is going to get discarded. But for now, it's our turn, so let's draw a card. And then Khutulun is up. She's going to use flank. We defeat the opposing follower with the most wounds. Unfortunately, this means that our Swave Sycophant is gone. I was hoping to block with him 1 more time. And for my last action, I will gain my Mythium. I want to prepare to play this Generous Dealer next turn. She costs 5. Khutulun's final action is going to be Charge. Thankfully, all of her followers are exhausted. So it's the end of the round. I will gain 2 Mythium, draw a card, and flip the turn order. Khutulun starts by recruiting, and she's going to get a Swift Messenger, who is a 1/3. And next turn she will Unrelenting. This will remove the stationary counter. She doesn't have any, so she's just going to attack. I'm going to follow up on her plan and play this Generous Dealer for 5 Mythium. Khutulun follows up on Unrelenting, so she's going to attack with all of her followers. And the Generous Dealer, who is a 2/6, is going to block the Champion of the 2 Men, who is a 4/2. And again, the Overwhelm doesn't trigger, but we do take 4 wounds. Then the Mothkeeper is gonna take the Eagle Huntress, which is going to trade. And finally, the Sly Sentinel is going to block the Sparring Bregart. They're going to trade, but the Sentinel is going to remove the Messenger from combat. Once again, only the Emboldened Soldier goes through, netting Khutulun 1 point. We've done a great job cleaning the board, but we're pretty tapped out at this point. So I will gain 1 Mythium. And then Khutulun is up. She's going to recruit Dog Tamer, who is a 1/1. And on her next action, she's going to advance, which means she will increase her Earth standing, shuffling some more powerful followers into her deck, and then she's going to attack. I am going to draw a card. Khutulun is going to advance, so her standing goes up to 2. These 5 cards are going to be added into the deck. And finally, Dog Tamer is going to attack. I have no blockers, so Khutulun gains 1 power. I'm going to play straight to the source. This usually costs 2 Mythium, but I have a location in my hand, and I have a 1 Mythium discount from the Generous Dealer. So this will cost nothing and net me 3 Mythium. End of the round. Let's ready our followers. We go first, so I'm going to play this Hidden Temple. This will be 2 Mythium, but I have a 1 discount from the Generous Dealer, so this will only be 1 Mythium, and I will load it up. Khutulun is next, and she will recruit, and this is a Mongol Quartermaster. It's a 5/4, and he comes from this second deck, so we're already seeing the effect of Khutulun's standing going up. Next round she's going to attack. I'm going to play Passionate Race. It's going to cost 0 Mythium because of the Generous Dealer discount, and I'm going to develop a location I control twice. So I'm going to develop the Temple for 4 Mythium, and then I'm going to develop the Temple again for 2 cards. Khutulun now attacks. The Generous Dealer has 6 health and 4 wounds, so she can safely block the Emboldened Soldier. The other 3 followers go through, netting Khutulun 3 power. She's at 8. Just a reminder, the first player to 10 wins, which means we're in a bit of a spot. I am next. I'm going to play Weaving Workshop, and this is going to cost us 3 because of the dealer. And when the workshop enters play, I can play another location, and it costs 2 less. I'm going to play Mesmerizing Maze, and it's going to cost 2 less and another 1 less because of the dealer, so it's going to cost nothing. Khutulun is going to Inspire, so her standing goes up. We shuffle this last follower into her deck, and then she recruits a 1/1. So I'm going to use Marco Polo's ability. I will remove 2 stage counters from Marco Polo, and I'm going to seek a follower in my deck. Seeking means I'm going to flip cards until I find a follower, and the one I find is a Spacious Smuggler. He says I'm going to take an additional action my next turn this round. Sadly, this is my last turn, but I'm still going to pay the 3 Mythium to play him. And then on Khutulun, she's going to attack with the Adept, which I will block with the Smuggler, taking 1 wound, and the Adept is discarded. It is the end of the round. Khutulun is gonna play first, and she's gonna recruit. So this is the Forceful Rogue, who is 1/2. I'm going to develop the Weaving Workshop, and that's going to give me 2 Mythium and a power. And also this allows me to develop another location. I will develop the Mesmerizing Maze, and this will give me 1 power and a Stars standing. Next is Khutulun, and she's going to attack. Oh yeah, that was a pretty big misplay on my end. So I will block the Dog Tamer with the Smuggler, and I will block the Rogue with my Generous Dealer. 2 followers go through, so Khutulun is at 10. We have until the end of the round, and then she's going to win. And next turn she's going to recruit. So I'm going to play the Uncanny Valley, and that's going to cost 5 Mythium. And the Uncanny Valley says that when it enters play, I can discard a card to develop a location I control. I'm going to discard the Heedless Investor, and I will develop the Weaving Workshop. This gives me 1 power, and it allows me to develop another location, which is going to be the Uncanny Valley. And this is going to give me 1 Mythium and 1 power. Khutulun is next, and she's going to recruit the Unweaver Armor, who's a 2/2. And next turn she's going to charge. I'm going to play Exploitative Extraction, and this card costs X and allows me to develop location X times. So I'm going to play 3 Mythium. First, I will develop Mesmerizing Maze, which will gain me 1 power and put a stationary counter on the armor, so she cannot attack, and the maze is discarded. Then I will develop the Uncanny Valley, so I will draw a card and gain 1 power. And then I will develop the Uncanny Valley again, which says that I gain 1 power and my opponent loses 1 power. So we are still in the game. I'm sorry, this is exhausted. Khutulun is going to attack, but the armor is stationary. And for my last action, I will develop the Hidden Temple, gaining 2 Mythium and drawing a card. And that will be the end of the turn. And I'm going to reshuffle Khutulun's deck. Let's start by using Marco Polo's ability. So I'm going to seek out a follower and hope it's going to be a cheap one. Not a follower. Okay, it's a Star's Apprentice, which I am going to play for 3 Mythium. And when she enters play, I can either play a location or draw a card. So I'm going to resolve the sick, so it's done. And I will draw a card. Khutulun is next, and she's going to recruit. I will gain a Mythium. And now Khutulun attacks. The Apprentice is going to trade with the Compassionate Ascetic. And the Smuggler is going to take the Messenger. So the Messenger gets a wound and the Smuggler is defeated. The Quartermaster gets through, gaining Khutulun 1 power. I am next, and I'm going to play the Caravan Guard, which is a bit too late. Really needed this 1 turn earlier. Then Khutulun is going to Inspire. She's going to play the top card and put a +1/+1 on him. Then I will gain a Mythium, and Khutulun is going to attack. I will block, taking 3 wounds, and that is the end of the round. And with that, we're going to check for victory. Khutulun as a 10, and unfortunately, we lose the game. Really close game. I pulled off a pretty spectacular turn where I got Khutulun from 10 to 9 and bumped my power quite significantly. I think I've done a couple of sequencing issues. One round I used Marco Polo's ability on my last turn and found the Smuggler. If I used it 1 turn earlier, then the Smuggler would trigger and we would gain an additional action, which could have mattered quite a bit. Another mistake I've done, I had a Weaving Workshop and a Hidden Temple in my hand, and I just played the Temple, while I could have played the Weaving Workshop and the Temple at the same time. Again, giving me a bit of a tempo boost, which I feel that I was missing. Very close game, difficult opening from Khutulun. Having the Automaton playing 4 followers in a row is always challenging. Polo's Portraitist got us quite a bit of time with his ability to stop the attack phase, but not enough. Thank you for watching, and please try the solo mode on Tabletopia yourself.